I made this gunship with 4 of the old LEGO 501st sets. But how many sets would it take to make something similar with a new 501st set? Compared to the old one, the piece selection is way different and not as good in my opinion. So yes, this is an alternate build, but it's also an experiment to see if something like this is even possible. Here's the plan. I'm going to be making this digitally using a program called Bricklink Studio, since I don't actually own this many 501st BattlePack sets in real life. And as a quick side note, I do apologize for the blurry video, it does get better in just a little bit. But anyways, I loaded in a bunch of the 501st BattlePack sets, and I'm basically just going to start building using these 2x6 plates. And since there's only one of this piece included in each set, when I'm done with the build, I can simply tally up how many of these parts are used, and that should answer the question of how many 2023 501st BattlePacks does it take to make a proper Republic gunship. Alright, so let's get building. Starting off, just kind of got a foundation here on which the cockpit and the pilot area are going to be built, also making the mounting points for the ball turrets so they can move up and down. And I think this is a pretty good start for the ball turrets, but that rounded plate is just looking a little thin by itself, so I definitely want to try and add some depth to it, which I tried using these arch pieces, but then I realized these mounts for the ball turrets are just sticking a little too far forward for my liking, so I moved them back and tried to start building around the ball turrets to integrate them better into the front part of the ship. And then I started working on the lower cockpit area and the side panels. I wanted to try to do something angled here, but I was just not happy with how this was looking. It was not easy to build this direction, so I went with some more traditional approaches with brackets and bricks. And then I flipped it over, built the other ball turret, built up the side panel, and kind of just smoothed things off before I got too ahead of myself. So this is what we have for the front section so far. Looks pretty good, but we got a long way to go. Next, I built the front cockpit. Not much I could do here since there were no windscreen pieces included with the set. And then I got distracted and started building the base of the rest of the ship, building all the way towards the back and making these angled supports that are at the rear of the ship. And I did decide to try and take full advantage of the red Technic axles that are included with the set, just to improve the structural integrity and save some other parts for later. So I smoothed off the bottom, and then I decided to make a central support. Originally I wanted this to be an archway so you could pass through to the cockpit, but it ended up being a blaster storage area instead. And with that, I was ready to start working on the doors. To keep things simple, I decided to make one large door instead of one small one and one kind of medium-sized one. However, I still wanted it to 1. Be able to open and close, and 2. Have an outward angle at the bottom. A couple more pieces to support on the inside, and there we have our left side door. It doesn't open all the way backwards, but there is still some room for minifigs to get in and out, which is better than nothing. But instead of working on the other side, I got distracted again and started working on the very top section, making that angled, kind of beefy area where the wings and the engines are going to connect to eventually. I really love how smooth this section looks, and it's all thanks to these 1x2 curved slope tiles. Oh yeah, I also made the second cockpit here, and the area where the wings connect, which you're gonna see right now. What you won't see is how many times my computer froze because I had so many battle packs loaded into one file. But yeah, I made the front cannons, I smoothed off the wings, and I could see the end was in sight, but there was still one very important thing missing: engines. I really wanted to do these right because on some alternate builds I've done, the engines always end up being kind of lackluster or neglected, but I really like the size and shape of these, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. And with that, we're on to building engine number 2. Now this thing is really starting to look like a gunship. At this point though, I was getting kind of tired and wanted to be done building, so I copied and pasted the door to the right side, added some details in the rear turret to the back, as well as some more details and greebling and missiles on top, before completely smoothing off the wings. But I was still missing pilots, so I added some bricks where they could sit to be level with the canopies, and thankfully they fit under there without me having to take off their arms or helmets. So yeah, here it is. I did my best to fit some troopers on the inside. I could only fit about 8 of them, but with the 2 pilots that's 10 troopers total, which is not terrible. Of course, with the doors closed you probably couldn't fit that many, but whatever. Like I said, this is more of an experiment than an actual alternate build, which is one reason why I'm not going to be making instructions for this. The other reason is I used 80 of those 2x6 plates, so in order to get enough parts, if you were only buying battle packs, you would need to buy 80, yes, 80 501st BattlePack sets, which is not possible for most people. Also, there would be 5,000 parts left over. However, if you would like to see me build this gunship in real life and make a review video about it, first hit the like button and then write a comment down below if I should do it or not. I'm also curious to know, what would you do with 80 501st BattlePack sets? Would you make this gunship, or would you try and build something different? What would you do? Let me know down in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this Republic gunship made from 80 501st BattlePack sets with a bunch of pieces left over. Maybe sometime I can make a side build that uses 5,000 pieces, or maybe the gunship is the side build, who knows. Anyways, that's going to be all for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.